Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's well on this Monday afternoon. Just come off a night shift. Not a very nice incident last night. A bit of a busy night, so I've come home, got my head down for a few hours before I do a podcast in about the next hour. So I thought I'd use this time for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I want to put out a few thank yous. Firstly, to all my loyal followers and viewers. Again, I know I said it a few times on post, but without you guys, I wouldn't be able to carry on doing what I'm doing. I really, really appreciate it. Means a lot for your support. I think we've reached 1.6k subscribers on YouTube, so please keep pushing it, keep sharing away, getting the message out there and getting the word and pushing the podcast for me. I really, really appreciate it. Second thing is I like to thank all the sponsors. Now, they've obviously, this has been going now, the podcast, since February. I've had these sponsors on board pretty much from the off. Kind of a diverse group of sponsors, really. You've got Lions Den Boxing Club, headed up by Sam Goodrum, where I used to box out of. Absolutely fantastic club. Sam's got time for everyone. Whatever your ability when you go there, just absolutely incredible sort of atmosphere. And I think it's one of the most state-of-the-art boxing gyms in the country. It's over sort of towards Eastwood Langley Millway, if I'm not mistaken. Hina, if I'm not wrong. Secondly, I would like to thank Team Freaks. They've done all my kind of nutritional stuff. Mine and my fiance's nutritional stuff. We've been on some sort of plan to get in shape over the last few months. I've known Scott Knowles, who runs the company, is the CEO of Team Freaks Transformations. I've known him years. Actually, top bloke. Funny story. Hopefully, he's coming on the podcast soon. What that man doesn't know about nutrition is not worth knowing. He's going to do an episode on the podcast, and we can chat about because we weren't always friends. But we'll get into that at some point when we do the podcast. And I think you'll find that quite interesting. Another good friend of mine runs a company that's sponsoring the podcast, Ashlow Construction Services. Absolutely brilliant lad. Very, very switched on guy. Also, we have Responder Resilience. Now, that's headed up by Sean McCallum, who is a firefighter with myself, or he's a watch manager. Absolutely amazing things for the fire service and outside the fire service with sort of crisis teams and kind of helping mental health, as you know, I'm a big advocate for, and is what one of the kind of main aims and goals is with the podcast. So that's Responding Resilience. And then also a kind of sponsor that's joined a little bit later, Pagoda Watchers. As you can see here, they are absolutely brilliant watchers. I'm hoping to have one in the future. I'm going to go and save up for one first, but I do want one because they're brilliant bits of kit, worn by professionals. So check them out as well. So that's the sponsors. Again, without them guys and helping me along the way, I won't be able to do what I'm doing. So thank you guys. I suppose I kind of, as I have done throughout life, I've muddled through it, cuffed it, kind of skipped, hopped, just got through it, and I fell into place. It's kind of how it's worked out for me. I mean, the podcast is no different. I had an idea back in February about starting one and doing it. I always wanted to do one, and I wanted to do it for kind of mental health, or one of the reasons was for mental health. So yeah, I suppose the fiance, in her infinite wisdom, and she is right, as she is most of the time, bless her, was maybe should put out some sort of mission statement about what the podcast is about, what it's trying to achieve. And she's right. It's a good idea because it's not, I don't think it's that apparent. Because again, I've spoke to a few people that are going to be guests, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that's what you were doing. I just thought with the old Paratroop podcast, you had military veterans on, and that was that." So I suppose that's pointing me in the right direction to probably put out a mission statement and explain what the goal is. So it was always going to be like two phases. The first phase was always going to be build up a following, establish a podcast, because there's no point sort of trying to push certain messages if you haven't got an audience. So again, the idea was push out episodes with such a diverse kind of variety of guests, as you've seen in the past, who I've had on, who I've got coming on. They range from all sorts: professional athletes, actors. I've got comedians en route. A lot are military veterans, special forces or parachute regiment, or all sorts of units. But the kind of it's not always been apparent what the kind of goal and what the aims are. So again, two phases. First phase, build up following, wide variety of guests on. Second phase, once I've got that following, and there was no set figure with what sort of following I kind of was looking for. I've got 1.6k now on YouTube, which is absolutely phenomenal since February. Dead chuffed for that. It's absolutely brilliant. But if I can aim sort of maybe about between 3 and 5k, that'd be absolutely brilliant. That's where I want to be at. Obviously, the more the merrier. I'd love to get it up to 100k. There's no limit on how many subscribers I want. The more subscribers, the further the audience. So yeah, that was kind of like the 2-phase plan behind it, was get the subscribers. Once I've got the subscribers up to where I want them, and I think it's going to reach out quite far, I'm then going to start to infiltrate. I'm going to start doing it anyway, regardless, because I'm up, like I say, 1.6k, which is not bad. Mental health professionals. I've said this before on another post, but it's kind of, so the goal will be to raise awareness. One of the goals is to raise awareness for mental health, whether that can be through getting people to talk, listening to stories on here that people have had their own struggles with mental health. And some of the guests, quite a large number of the guests, have had their own struggles along the way with mental health, which was a part of it as well. And just to get people talking about that, there isn't a stigma about struggling if you're a kind of a male. I know it's rife within the veterans community. I still believe there's 22 veterans a day that take their own life, which is just 22 too many, isn't it? So I think if we can just push the message out there that it's okay to talk about it, it's not a sign of weakness. I think it's what I'm seeing is a lot of people are trying to push the mental health, and quite rightly so. And I'm trying to do my bit, obviously, with the podcast, trying to raise awareness. So like I say, 2 phases, get the followers up as we continue to do, and run sort of side by side with that. We'll start sort of implementing and putting people in here and there that have got mental health professionals. I've got a few lined up that run certain charities for veterans, certain charities for men's mental health across the board. And we'll just start slipping them in, even if it means we continue with the life stories on like once a week, like on a Sunday morning, 8 a.m. the life story podcast comes out, but we do a midweek kind of episode as well where I chat to a mental health professional and he explains certain things. I obviously want to talk to people that are specialists in ADHD as well, because as I've said before, that's something that's quite passionate to me. So if we can raise awareness for ADHD, raise awareness for mental health amongst the veterans communities, the emergency services communities, it doesn't have to just be for them communities. It's about raising awareness as a whole. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry it's a waffle, guys. I just, as I've said before, 44 years on this planet, I've realised I'm good at talking, or perhaps not good at talking. I just waffle on at a tangent. It's part of the ADHD as well. But I hope all that makes sense, and I hope that now people understand kind of what I'm trying to achieve and where it's gone and how it's gone the way it has. Because it's not, I don't think it's been that obvious from the start. But anyway, I am waffling now. I've got about half an hour before I do a podcast. Very, very interesting guest. Be out in a few weeks. I'm unsure as to what podcast is going out on Sunday. I've got a few to choose from. and I'm doing some really, really good ones this week. So depending on how the week goes and how my schedule goes will determine who we have out on Sunday. But rest assured, it'll be a good one, as always. And again, thank you, guys and girls. Thank you very, very much for the support. It means an awful lot to me, and I appreciate it. So keep subscribing, keep following, keep watching, and hopefully we'll get where we want to be. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.